crying out loud. I totally fudged up my last introduction, and I'm hoping to rectify that. I am about to do the Oracle of Delphi, but I should like to make sure that that things are in order. Before the fact. And I believe things are working. Alright, sorry for the confusion. I haven't done this tour yet, and I wanted to share this as I did it. This is the Oracle of Delphi. I am playing as Pythagoras, or Pythagoras, and now I'm in the right place. This appears to be the pathway leading, up the sacred path. I accidentally started the last tour at the Agora of Athens. Anyways, now things are in order, things look more right. I was wondering why Aspasia was the one doing the tour, but this is Herodotus, and you meet him in the game that you play. This gentleman here, I'm playing as Pythagoras, an important character, or Pythagoras, excuse me. He's an important character in the game story, and I thought it would fitting to switch to his character while I did this. This is the entrance to the sacred path to the place, and I will commence it here. And I know I won't be able to keep my mouth shut, so you can expect me to bloviate on topics.
Here, visitor, and welcome to this sacred site. My name is Herodotus, and I am a traveler from Hyrcanassus. I retrace the cause of various events, such as wars and great calamities. I describe what I see and record what I'm told, all with the aim of providing a better understanding of why these things occur. Look for me to introduce you to many sites.
He is also a master of hyperbole and exaggeration and making stuff up. Unless it was, he was just regaling the rest of us with what he was told, but I have a feeling he provided plenty of embellishments of his own. I still enjoy his work, but it got to be a bit frustrating.
Delphi is an amazing place to visit if you're looking for information. I've come here on several occasions in search of answers to some particularly puzzling questions, and sometimes I even found them. This is Delphi, home of the renowned Oracle. Greeks considered it the navel of the world. Pilgrims and kings journeyed here from all over Greece and beyond, seeking advice from Apollo through the voice of his interpreter, Pythia. During your visit, you will experience the sanctuary through a pilgrim's eye and discover how important oracles and prophecies were to the people of Greece. Now, go off and begin your pilgrimage. I will be waiting for you at the end of your visit.
This place will have 7 tour stations. Boy, you need a lot of drachmae to have all these statues up here.
On their journey to the Temple of Apollo, pilgrims walked this sacred path up Mount Parnassus. The summer sun beat down hot on their backs. Along the way, they took in the magnificent monuments, treasuries, and statues that adorned the road. These landmarks were tokens of people's reverence for the oracle's benevolence. All were dedicated to Apollo, and most were offered by cities to commemorate military victories. The monuments represented not only their donors' piety, but also their power and wealth. The sanctity of Delphi has endured to the present day, and visitors still take this very same route.
That'll be a very fascinating place to go to. When you have, because this place existed, I think, from the later middle-ish period of the Athenians all the way until 390 AD, when the Holy Roman Emperor ordered it shut down. And it just went pretty much from there to decay until it was rediscovered in the 19th century. But the fact that it was such a place where all these people came for advice, it had to have been a place loaded with gossip and people, seeking advice on all sorts of matters. That's an excellent way to get intelligence. So, given that this place existed for roughly 1700 years, it had to have influenced global policy for that time, and that has to have had ramifications that last even to the 21st century. You never know what kind of influence your decisions make. This is for you guys to pause and read about. I'm not sure I'll be waxing on these. Just continue the tour. And I apologize if I'm frustrating anybody, but this to me looks like the first CIA. Stator of Sicyon and Peloponnesos with the Chimera, an obverse, and a dove flying on reverse. I will go ahead and look at this a little bit closer. I'll hide the text, some ancient Greek coins. I wonder if you can get replicas of these for a reasonable price. That would be kind of cool. We have lots of tourists and people visiting and seeking advice. You're going to have gossip up the wazoo. This was a place to learn about who was doing what and to modify your plans accordingly. So whoever governed Greece with the most authority had to have used this information to alter their policy and way of doing things. Unavoidable.
One of the most impressive dedications to Apollo came from the Cnidians, a Greek population that colonized the island of Lipari, north of Sicily. The story behind this dedication is notable. The Cnidians were at war with the Etruscans in the Tyrrhenian Sea. Seeking a good omen, the Cnidians consulted the Oracle, and following her advice, they successfully captured 20 enemy ships. To thank Apollo, they offered the god the same number of statues as ships seized.
That's interesting. Get a closer look at the statue. This is a very long time ago. So in a way, it's a wonder that they have what they do, to be honest. Gonna be rude and go between these guys. I love the detail they put into this game. It's just fantastic. Even with Origins, I love going through the virtual depictions of ancient Egypt. Just to walk around the towns. But the Greeks really knew how to make buildings and realistic statues. The Athenian treasury at Delphi, restored by archaeologists from the French school at Athens. We'll go ahead and get a better look at it. That's neat. Oracle of Delphi. Go ahead and look at the coins. That's pretty impressive casting for 2,400 years ago. Plus. Since I'm going so slow, I hope nightfall doesn't come before I finish this. I'll go ahead and grab this bit. A Sibyl was a prophetess. Legends say that there were 10 Sibyls in the ancient world, with each one located at different sites. One Sibyl even called Delphi her home long before the appearance of Pythia, and allegedly delivered her prophecies from atop a stone. Well, if it was pre-Pythia, I wonder if that's Mycenaean period, which would take it back even further. Don't know. I'm not educated in that.
Next to the Naxian Sphinx stood a simple structure to display offerings from the Athenians, most of which were spoils of war. In particular, these offerings, called ex-votos, were prows of sunken Persian ships. The Athenians built the portico after their naval victory over the Persians in 478 BCE.
Let's get a closer look at those. So is that Persian currency then? Oops. I'm so sorry. Don't mean no bad manners. I'll show the painting briefly, if anybody wants to have a look at it. Kind of eager to. move on with the tour. I think remnants of these still exist. I wonder how busy the priestesses were on a daily basis.
Once arriving before the temple, pilgrims wishing to consult the oracle had to first pay a tax. This tax gave them the initial right to approach the altar of Apollo and make an animal sacrifice to the god. But before proceeding to the Pythia, the preliminary ritual had to succeed. If the animal reacted favorably and showed signs of acceptance to the god, it was sacrificed, and the pilgrim would be allowed to enter the temple to question the Pythia.
There's so much room for exploitation and deception doing something like that. And I'm looking at it from the point of gathering intelligence more than anything else. And it had to have served that purpose beautifully.
At last we arrive at the Temple of Apollo, where the oracle relayed her prophecies. The temple was the final destination of those seeking an audience with the Pythia, and its appearance matched the majesty of its purpose. Atop its imposing columns, the structure's pediments displayed famous mythological scenes, sculpted by the renowned Greek artist Antenor. But as grand as the temple looked from the outside, it paled in comparison with what happened within.
Oh wow, I hope we get to go inside. You can't do that in the game on a regular basis. Oh, that's Herodotus. Oh, cool. I am going to take a moment to look around inside here after I hit this point.
Prophecies were given in the most restricted part of the temple, the Aditon, by a chaste woman known as the Pythia. Before delivering prophecies, she first purified herself with water, then burned laurel leaves and barley flour to begin the ritual. Finally, while seated on a tripod surrounded by offerings, the Pythia delivered Apollo's messages. Her words were often strange and indecipherable, and required further interpretation by the temple's priests. Despite much research, the exact causes of the oracle's behavior while prophesying are debated to this day.
I'm sorry, but I have to look at this from the perspective of intelligence gathering. I have to. It's part of the game. It's part of the trick. And since this place endured for 1,700 years, you can bet that it preyed upon people's penchant for superstition and meaning, and they really had an ingenious means of getting people to talk and to ask things and to have answers given to them that had to have been quote-unquote interpreted. I wonder how many wars were fought and lost, and how many advantages or mistakes were made here at setting up policy. That's really a magnificent means of getting necessary information. Wow, this is an interesting place. I wish during the regular game you could come in here. but oh well.
Myths say that while searching for an oracle who could impart their words to mortals, Apollo established a sanctuary on Mount Parnassus. Apollo took over this site by slaying its sinister guardian, the snake-like Python.
Well, now I know the origin of the word python. British Museum electrotype, modern copy of a statue of Croton depicting Apollo killing Python with a bow. On the other side, Heracles is seated, holding laurel branch and club. Get a better look at these coins. Nifty. I am, on my own time, going to come back here in the game and get a closer look at things.
Your visit is complete. I hope you now understand how important this sanctuary was, and how it affected the lives of people both in the Greek world and beyond its borders. To be honest, I could speak about Delphi all day. But what would you like to do now?
I'm not really... I was more awestruck by the visual, and I don't think I retained the information, but...
You wish to test your knowledge? Let's begin with a simple question. What did the Oracle use to purify herself before her predictions? Correct. The Oracle used water for purification. Time for another question. Which god was believed to speak through the Oracle at Delphi? Yes, the Oracle allegedly spoke the words of Apollo, which were then interpreted by priests. One final question for you. Delphi is situated on which mountain?
I think it's Parnassus.
Correct. Delphi stood on the slope of Mount Parnassus. Well done, traveler. Your knowledge rivals that of the wisest philosophers.
I seriously doubt that. Alright, well, I'm going to continue to the next suggested tour, but I will not be airing that one. I'm just, I really was just interested in Delphi, so thanks for watching, and until next time, fair winds for now. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be, all across these time zones of ours.